Hello, team. This is a presentation by Arunati. She'll do code walkthrough for the CDS UI and the features it currently supports in the El Alto and Dublin release. Go ahead, Arunati.
Sure, thank you. So basically, we download the CDS UI repo from the Gerrit, and we can find it in the below link. That is ccstk/cds. So this is the repo which we need to download for the CDS UI. So when we download this repository, basically we get these folders. The CDS UI, components folder, doc, and the MS. So here we are concerned with the CDS UI folder, which contains the Angular plus the loopback.js application. So we have basically designed the UI application not just with Angular, but it also involves a loopback.js server. So why we have been using this loopback is Amit's main concern was to move all the user management code to a server, and all that the Angular application will do is just serve the JS and HTML files. So that was the basic idea we had, and loopback.js was our obvious choice for it, as it had various advantages, like we can generate the APIs within a Go. Basically, we can generate REST APIs using the loopback.js. So it's very easy to generate the REST APIs using loopback. Plus, it provides great connectivity to the DB very easily. So for those reasons, loopback was our obvious choice. So coming to our Angular application, it resides in the client folder. So let me open it here. So this is the CDS UI folder, within which we'll have the client and the server folder. So in the client, we have the Angular application, and within server, we have the loopback.js application. And common folder is it basically contains all the common or shared files between the client and the server. So in the client, that is our Angular application, we have tried to segregate each screen as a different module, and we have tried to lazy load each module, as in it will be loaded only when the user comes to that particular page and not beforehand. So we have put two folders within this, that's the common and feature modules. Feature module is the one where the actual code resides for all the screens. So when I let me run this application.
The application can run without having CDS running?
Ahmed, I didn't get your question.
Sorry? I didn't hear.
I didn't follow the question. Yep.
Yeah. The application
can type it in the message box, if you don't mind.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, he's asking if the application can run without the CDS components. I guess, Ahmed, your question is can the CDS UI run without the controller blueprints and the controller blueprint processor? That's your question?
Yes.
Yes, Ahmed. So basically this MS folder which is there, this is all of the backend code. So we can run the UI application, but although will not be able to get any data if these services are not running at the back end. So basically, we run it just for the data. But if you just want to work on the UI part, I don't think running this MS is mandatory.
Okay, thank you.
So this is the UI. So these are the modules which I was talking about. So currently we have two, that is first flow is for the controller blueprint creation management, and second one is for the resource definition management. So how we have segregated is within the feature module, we have created a folder for blueprint, that is one menu, and the other menu is the resource definition, that's the second one. So, now when the, Swapnali, they are working on the catalog creation part, right? So what they have to do is put that module within feature module as one more folder. Create a module is what I meant. And when I take up one module here, so under which we have again segregated the screens. So basically we have three steps in the process of CDA creation. The metadata, designer screen, and the test screen. So a similar way, what we have done is we have created different components for the respective steps, and we have created a module within which we'll be loading all of those components, and within the app module we'll be lazy loading app routing module. We'll be lazy loading those components. So we have for the blueprint module and the resource definition module. So similarly for catalog also we'll be doing the same thing. This is about the feature module, and in the common we are maintaining various things. So are the constants, any shared modules, like we are using Angular material here. So what we have done is we have imported all the material libraries into one module, and we wherever this material module is required, we just inject it there. And in utility, any util files you can put. And the main thing here is the core thing. So basically, in the core folder, we put all the singleton services. So by singleton service, what I mean is services, which should have a single instance across the application. So such services we are putting them in the core. So basically, we are for the Angular state management, we are using the NGRX Redux store. So that store is also put here, wherein we are defining all the actions, effects, models, reducers, and selectors for the respective feature modules. So I can show you one. So, for example, for the CDA creation, we have a blueprint action wherein we define all the actions. For example, save blueprint, load blueprint, set blueprint. So these are the actions that we are defining within the blueprint action.ts. And the models are the models which we'll be using for the NGRX store. Okay, and in the reducer is the actual place where we are,
Sorry for the
saving
interruption.
data in this. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, what is the store you are using? You are using Redux?
Yes, it's a library basically. NGRX library, if you have heard of it, basically it is for the state management. For example, suppose in our application, we have three steps here. Three steps are divided into three components. So basically all three components or all three steps utilize the single file or single, state of data. So using NGRX store
Yes.
makes it easier. I mean, right? That's the basically why we used it. So all of
Okay.
the components just subscribe to that state. What I mean is, so this. So there's a state folder wherein we define the states. So all of the components which require this data subscribe to the state, and whenever there is update to the store for that data, all of the components are notified that yes, the data has changed. So they pull the latest from the store. So I think this could be done through using just the services, but I think it will be more code and more complex code to manage. And this NGRX provides ready-made methods to do that. All we have to do is just create an instance of that state and just subscribe to it, and we'll be getting the latest data from the store.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, this is it about the store. Okay, and we have services also under core, where we are keeping services like API service and the loader service and notification handler service. So the main service that here it is the API service, where we define all the HTTP calls. So as of now, there's no much code in this, but why we created this is, tomorrow if we are going to add any HTTP interceptors or any changes that has to be happened to the HTTP call before hitting the backend, that will be done through this API service. So from any components we call the backend service is through this API service. In assets, we just keep JSON files. I think we have covered everything from the client. So in the server, that is the loopback.js. So the main thing here is, we like Angular CLI. We have tool here as well. In the loopback, which automatically generates the entire REST API for us. All we have to do is just provide the name of the API and the data source for it. So the main things here are the controllers, which will expose the APIs for us and which the client Angular application uses to connect. So here we are defining all our APIs. And next thing is the service, where we define all the methods that actually hit the backend service to fetch the data, and all the configurations are done within the data source. So there is file called template.ts. Here we are defining all of our URLs. URLs that connect to the backend, all the get and post methods.
Okay,
And
so the controller,
yeah,
to make sure I understand, the controller exposes endpoints, and in the controller there is a service. The controller calls
yes,
the service, which
yes,
use this template to send the requests
yes,
to the different CDS components.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So basically, as what I'll just show you this thing from the client, how we call it. App. So suppose I am calling a save blueprint method from the backend. So what I do is I hit the loopback server from the Angular code. So I just pass this URL to the get method, and you guys can see here that it doesn't have the base URL for the loopback. It just gives the path of the REST API that is present here. So this is because when we don't, as this Angular files are served through loopback and we don't give the base URLs, it will take the URL path of the current browser. So as we are serving through loopback, so it will hit the loopback server itself. So when we call this thing, it will, right? Yeah, it will hit the respective method in the controller, which will in turn connect to the backend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So during the development process, if we just want, if we just are working on the UI part, we can directly serve the UI Angular application at port 4200. But if we want to connect to the backend and fetch the data, so in that case, directly, serving it through Angular won't help. We have to serve it through loopback. So what we basically do is, I build the Angular application, and the configuration are changed in such a way the build path, output path is set to the loopback dist folder. So we have set it in package.json, I guess. So yeah, we can see here we have set the output path to server /public. So basically all the build packages go to the server folder, that's the loopback, and from there all the HTML and JS files are processed. And I just build it from here, and what we do is, to run the loopback, we just have to, I think it's already running, no. Run the command. So this is the port at which we can access the loopback application. Yeah. So yeah, again, obviously we should be running the backend application so that we can fetch the data. So that the backend data can be fetched through two modules. Those are the controller blueprint application and the blueprint processor. So these are the two applications which we need to keep up and running, and basically to fetch the data. So I think this is it. Yeah, pretty much about the code basically. Any questions?
Sorry, about the last point, I didn't have CDF components running up and running. I just run the tests. So is it easy to have the application and the blueprint processor running to be able to have the loopback running as well?
So your question is, how do we run the blueprint processor plus the CDS UI?
Yes. Is it easy or something easy just running them, or I need to have?
It's easy only. Basically, what I do is, I just load the entire CCSDK, including CDS UI in the IDE. And
yes.
what basically when we do MVN clean install, somehow the CDS UI it fails at CDS UI. So what we do basically is just comment this off, and then there are few configurations that we need to do. Currently, I don't know. I need to search it, and I'll give you that. I mean, the DB thing and all. There's a username, password that we need to change, and then just directly run the MVN clean install. After which we can run it from here, blueprint processor application.java. There are a few configuration also to be added. If you need them, I'll just give it to you. I need to search it.
Okay.
And,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we access, through Postman. We basically test it.
Okay. Okay. So for the designer UI that we are going to implement, I think it has a different theme than the current theme in the UI. So do you think it will?
Where are we going to put the designer view here?
Yes.
So basically, how we had designed it before, this is the one thing where we need to discuss on. But current, I'll just tell you what is the current state.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm uploading a blueprint from my local. So when I upload this, you go to next. So basically, this is the editor view. Whatever file I have uploaded, it comes up in this file menu view. So the main file that we'll be building is the blueprint. That is this file. So the same file has to be worked on in the designer mode. So as you can see, we have a designer view button here. So we have disabled it as of now. So once we click on this designer view, the entire editor view will be replaced by the designer mode. So that thing is here. So we had created two components, that's the editor component and a designer component. So the parent module will hold both the designer and the editor component, and based on the user selection, will be toggling between the designer and the editor. So basically, whatever code will be working from now for designer must go here.
But I think the designer screens are too many, so I didn't think that they will be a sub module. I think they would be a module or even bigger. So are we going to open the designer from this view? I think what I understand is from when we were building the design, that the designer is going to open from maybe from the home page or from the site tab. So, Yuri,
So, Ahmed, maybe it's a good time if you can present the designer set of packages one more time so we can go through it. But I'm with you as well. Is that we want to start with the designer, not the editor mode.
Okay, give me 1 second, please.
Before that, one more thing, Arunti, I know you covered the point about the controller, right?
Yeah, right.
Communication with the CDS components, right? Do you want to say anything special about gRPC?
Nothing much as of now, Yuri, but I think I can show you how it was implemented.
So I guess the main thing that we wanted to state is that we want this UI is gonna have especially when we get to the designer mode, we want to have a gRPC streaming session open, and when the user does all the activities in the designer mode, we will do all the processing from enrichment to validation to saving as well. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be I think it should be an open stream based mechanism that's open itself. So I wanted to cover that topic probably when we start deep diving into the implementation.
Right, Yuri. Maybe we can have a different session for it, because even I am not that prepared to speak about it now. So maybe we can have a different session for it. Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. All right, Yuri. I think I'm done covering all the points. I think we can go ahead with our next item.
Okay, great.
Thank you. It's clear.
Okay, so why don't you, Ahmed, go through the designer screens at this time? Any questions the team has before we switch topics?
No, it's okay. We will try to run the code, and if we have questions, we will get back to Arun. We will get back to you if we have questions, yes. But it's okay now.
Okay, excellent. So go ahead, Ahmed.
Sarah is going to present designer.
Okay, let me show you, share my screen with you. Can you see it now? Hello?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. I'll start from the beginning, from the list of the packages we have. I see that we have common themes between what we have now and what is running currently. That we have both the new filing and the import and editing the file that's imported. But I didn't see the designer view. I didn't think that we have list of all these features. I thought that we already have to upload the file and show that the content only, not editing it, as I see now. But let me go through our current prototype. Okay. And here we have the list of all created packages before, and we are here defined to some stages of the file, to deployed and under construction and archived. And here you can see all the packages that are created, and from this screen you can create a new file and import file, and of course here you can see, search the current packages.
I can see just like a list of templates. I don't see. I see the components, but not really. I think you're trying to show a specific screen.
Okay, again, let me try to reshare it. Again, can you see it?
Okay, yeah. All right, you can see it.
Okay, this is a prototype. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Let's start again. This screen, this is a list of the packages that are created, and from the screen we can create a new package and import from local, like we saw now in the current version, and here we can search from the list, and
So
if you were, yeah.
hold on one second. So Arunati, this is where we want to get to as our main screen, right? We have a new or import itself as a separation, and then you have a list of cards. And I think that search capability, Arisi has already built, right? The list of searches for CBAs. But we want to move towards this type of screen for doing new or import a package. You see how there's a separation here?
Right, yep.
The current one is just importing?
No, we have all the three options implemented for the current version: new, import, and upload.
That's correct.
What about the import? Is that the creating new file? Is that just entering the code, or what is just doing in your application?
Yeah, when you click on new, it will just ask for metadata first. It's like a form-based one, and in the next screen, it would be like you have to choose like editor mode or designer mode. In the designer mode, we have the same JSON file what Arundhati has told, right? That would be in a design mode. That's all.
Okay, sure.
If it is new, we'll be having a fresh design view. So user has to create a design itself.
Okay, so just entering data, not viewing the package flow or actions.
Right, it's viewing just the file structure like you do, you would in any editor, like in the, what do you call it? We have IntelliJ, something
viewer,
like that.
Like code viewer.
Yeah, code viewer. So, Arundhati, Aricia, are you guys in the line with the screen? Any questions, putting together all the packages here and having that new and import on the right-hand side?
That we have designed in the paper form 1, right, Yuri?
Say that one more
Our
time.
application is totally like a stepper forms for both designer and editor. Modes are like while editing the actual package only. But initial part we have decided as like we'll have this option as a vertical steppers and
right.
user. Yeah.
And I want to evolve to this mode instead of the stepper mode, right? So this way, the user just clicks on new and import. He doesn't need to go through the stepper itself.
Okay, so in that, if we move to the screen, so again in the second step, how are we going to differentiate between the designer and the editor mode?
Right. So we would want probably most likely designer mode to be always the default, but for now you can have it editor, right? And then we can have some button that I think why don't you step through it? I think we can have both modes enabled, but at some point that editor mode we can probably just not need it anymore because we'll have the designer mode.
Do you mean the editor to edit the code itself?
Can you repeat that?
Do you mean the editor to just edit in the code?
No. Editing will be there. I mean, the editor mode, the hierarchy mode, I don't know if we'll need it because you'll be able, in a way that editor mode is like viewing the source, Sarah?
We still have it. We still have it.
Yeah, we still have it. We
have poster. We have poster.
Okay, so I guess, Arunti, to your question about designer and editor mode, the editor mode will be based on I think the source. So maybe can you do one flow of a creation of a topology and how we can view the sources? I think that will give some insight to that as well.
All right. Yeah. Let me share my screen.
Okay, yeah, we see it. We see your CBA packages.
Okay, so this is the first step wherein we'll have all the three options. I mean, in the other screen which was now showed, we have the import and new thing, right? So it's the same thing as upload from local or create new or search from the DB. So Yuri, so you're saying we'll replace this view with the other one?
Let me see. So yes, we want to start with the other one, and when they click on new, it goes create new automatically. When they click on import, it goes to the upload to local automatically. There is no need for the stepper.
Okay, so when I say upload now, we have a second step enabled, wherein we get an option to upload. So there in that screen, it's the import button. So I think we'll not get any such second step or next screen there. All that comes up is once a user clicks on the plus symbol in the import, directly file browser pops up in order to import the file, right?
Exactly. So it makes the user experience a little bit more simplified. That's what I feel like. If you do just import, you give them the option to give them the file, they upload it, and then they can edit the metadata and all the other things, all the other things that we want them as part of designer mode or editor mode or source mode.
Okay. Now that I'm uploading the blueprint. Okay. So now this is the way we are displaying the metadata. So we'll have a option there to display, or directly it moves on to the designer view.
Yes, and Sarah can show that as well. There's a consistent way we want to present this information, regardless if it's new or import.
Exactly. So we just need to check if there's a way for this in the new mockups. Yeah, so.
And I think, Sarah, this could be our source mode itself. This, instead of just presenting, because our source mode is not just, it's a hierarchy mode, right? It's not just one file. We have a multi-file structure itself. So this could be, this here is really the source mode that we have.
Yes. Basically, yeah. As we are doing this designer mode, so this will be the source for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The source mode.
Yes.
So do you want it to show it in the designer view, or what place should we place it?
This should be in the designer view, but as a source. Can we go? Arun, do you want to show anything else here? Because I want to show you where I think this should be placed.
No, that's it, really. Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
Okay, and if you want one more Okay, never mind. Sarah, can you present your the mock-up one more time?
Okay, sure. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes,
Hello? Okay.
yes, we can see it. Now, can you just create new one or import whatever you know?
Okay, let's begin with the new creating new file, a new package. Okay, from
Right.
here we're
So,
just entering. Uh-huh.
so one of the things we don't want to do create new package, right? This part you're gonna remove. You can for now you can click on the name your package, enter something, and I wanna get straight to the metadata from there.
Okay, sure. It's just getting started after creating the topology and show here the next step viewing the metadata and import and external system authentication properties here.
Yes, yes. So this would be the next screen. If you click new or import, import allows you to import your entire package and then you display this entire metadata information about it. Or new, you would be able to enter the new information about it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it has content of what is, for that metadata itself.
Metadata, yeah. Yes.
So why don't we proceed to topology view?
Okay, from here
Yes.
we just go to the topology view, and of course
And
this is an empty canvas
so,
here.
so this is a designer mode. You see there's a button there, Arunati Arisia, on the source.
Yeah, this one.
Right, David. Yeah.
That view
Yeah,
should
so
be the editor view.
Okay. And show it in as a hierarchy, like you mentioned.
Yes, correct.
Okay. A hierarchy with editing. Okay.
Say that one more time, Sarah.
With editing mode.
Yes, that source view is a editor mode, the current editor mode, basically.
The current editor mode, yes, in the current code, in the current
In the current code.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep it as source because I think that's fine to name it. But so we have the view is the view, it's the designer view, and the source is the editor mode. That's how that's how we present it. But we want everything to be by default the designer view itself. Okay, so far so good. Arunti Arisi, any question?
Yuri, actually, we have designed our application like a stepper view, and we don't want any pop-up screens. That's why we had that vertical stepper right initially.
Yes.
And yeah, we came up with the designer and the editor mode as a common mode in the next stepper. So user has to do everything in that only. So what here is like while creating a new, there it is moving to metadata screen, right? That is what we are doing in our application also as in a vertical stepper. When you click on just new, it will ask for metadata detail forms, and next screen will give us an option to create a designer or editor mode.
Right, but I don't want to do steppers anymore because steppers are going to be eliminated because we know the user will select either new or import, right? And you, based on new and import, you can go ready exactly to the metadata screen itself.
So this will change the design of whole application itself, right, from the start. What we have
It
done.
will change it. Yes, yes, yes. I know, I understand. But I think this will also simplify the user experience itself. Okay, so that's why we wanted to make sure we have this design call so that we can all be on the same page of what we want to do for Frankfurt itself. Okay, so any questions there? Do you see any concerns, Arunti Arisi? Does it make sense, like what we're discussing, proposing?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So the
All right.
mainly thing is that yes, we'll have to do the changes to the structure based on the new sort of thing.
Right, and for now, if we want,
right,
we can also make the source as the default, right? Because that editor view is what we support today, and in the background, the view can be in the construction. But we want to build that first screen. The first screen. I don't know if Sarah, if you can go back where you have the view of all the cards of the packages. Yeah, I think that screen we need to build first. This screen, and then the new or import, and then move towards our editor mode itself, after the metadata being displayed. Any questions on this?
Can we just go to the topology view, Sarah? Can you just show me the view, topology view?
Okay, sure. This is. You wanted to see it with actions?
I see here. So when we click on the source, that the designer will be replaced by the current editor mode, the current code.
So
that's
yes,
correct.
We will have two options. This is the designer to show the design of the actions created, and the source to show the code like you have in current system.
Okay. When I move to the source view, that time the action panel will be not be displayed. Is what I understand.
That's correct. You probably have to display all the hierarchy panel, right? With all the different we have right now.
We have a view of the source, but let me show it to you, our current version. This is the current version of source view. But I think we will replace it with yours.
Yes, we will replace it with the existing one.
Yes. Yes, because this one, I think
here's
like one file only, and we have a multi-file, and the current editor we have supports all of those features. So
we'll have to display both the things, the file hierarchy plus the editor which is shown now.
Yes.
Okay. So Arisi, any questions on the first two screens?
So when I come to the source mode, the above options will be still there, right? I mean the view and the source. Because when I come to source mode, the button has to be changed to designer mode, so that the user, when he clicks, we have to go back to the designer mode.
The view and source should be displayed. Yes, you need to keep those.
Okay.
And the top level save and all these other things should be also kept.
Okay.
Hey Tim, this is Brenda joining.
Hey Brenda.
Hey.
So, Brenda, did you have any questions on this as well?
No, just I want to see that what is our plan in terms of UI.
Okay, so Sarah, can you go back again to the main screen? So Brenda, you know the current UI, right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is this is going to be our new main screen. You're going to have new or import, or you can search on existing packages.
Yes.
Okay.
When you click on new, it's going to give you a way to create new package. When you click on import, it's the upload functionality we have today.
Okay.
So new itself, let's do the new one, Sarah. So when you click on new.
Before that, I like to get information from Sarah. Sarah, may I know about yourself?
Sorry?
Would you please? Okay. First, I will introduce. I'm Brenda. Okay. I work for AT&T and I'm from IBM. Yeah. Want to? Can you introduce yourself, Sarah?
To go to what? I'm sorry.
Can you introduce
Sarah,
yourself,
Sarah is with Orange. So we have Sarah Ahmed from Orange. We have Shobda and Swapnali from Tech Mahindra and Ravi from Huawei.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
we have a lot of different players.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions on this main screen?
No, it is the same workflow, right? So we have a new, and then we have a search options, and then we have upload options, right?
Yes, but we're not going to do steppers anymore because the current design has steppers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we're just simplifying that, and we're just saying select the new one or the import one based on the top options, or you can search something existing. So this is the main screen now for packages.
Okay. So
Okay, so
yeah, go ahead. So at bottom we have the links, right, for next. This is for by default it will show all the templates, available templates it will show, or
No, of course it will appear when we have more than one listing. I listed them here as eight packages.
okay.
And if we have more, we will have this paginator.
Exactly, because now I'm expecting more than 100, or it may be we may not at that point. Okay, how much we will get that? Sometimes it may be a performance issue. So in terms of getting all those information, right?
We can figure it out together to show to whether how many items or package we will show on the screen.
Okay, great. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Yeah. Yuri, and after then, what is it? It's okay. We have the screen and.
So then what we do? Click new, Sarah, please.
Okay.
And then forget about this one. We were going to get rid of this, but let's click on create. So when they click on new, if it's a new, the first thing they get into is metadata. They enter all the metadata. Okay, this is an editor screen where they provide the author information, whatever metadata they want. Okay.
And we can add more items if we edit it here. We can add optional keys or a preset keys here.
Okay, great. Yeah.
If we add a custom here, it's just entering two inputs for one for name and one for the value.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
And here's the edited one. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And in this screen, we have topology view, we have imports, we have external authentication properties. Brenda, the one thing I probably will also want to add is maybe templates as well. And what else do we have?
What is import actually? Just can you explain that word?
Imports are the things, you know how we have our structure of imports?
Okay.
So you can edit anything here.
Okay. So we want to, okay, so here this is the import file, and then after that we select and then we move on to the editor screen, right?
The editor screen, the main topology screen is under the topology view. So, but import is dealing with import section. External system authentication properties is dealing with the DSL section.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
And then we want to add templates because I think templates is something we want to just upload all the templates and make them available for other things. So that's something we can work on later. And also the user groups. I think user groups needs to be a separate.
Don't consider user groups now, Yuri, because now the design may change. Okay, user groups we should not collect at top level. It's a policy level we want to collect that. Okay, just to hold on the user groups.
Okay. So, but it's to give you an idea what we want. So there's going to be different tabs to populate different sections of the multi-file structure itself.
Because
okay.
Slightly, I'm having a different perspective. Okay, let me explain just so we can design that. Just see that whether that could accommodate in this or not. The current design we are not restricting any kind of format actually. Okay, so right now on dynamic itself, you can introduce a folder structure. Minimum what we need, it's like a description we need. Definitions we need. Even sometimes we may not need the definitions also. If you are trying to use a complete DSL, only the script folder will be there. Okay, only the script folder will be there. Or sometimes what's the thing is, if you want to export only the Ansible playbooks and then you want to execute that, at the time also script only folder will be there. And sometimes if you are trying to choose definition, okay, definition you are trying to create by JSON, then only you will have the definition folder with the JSON structure. And sometimes what happens now, only template uploads will be there. Okay, so we may need to upload only the templates. So it means what I'm trying to say here, it's the design should be flexible enough. Okay, so it should upload dynamic content. Say for an example, the deployment folder. Okay, one more deployment folder we are trying to add that to how it can be packaged together. That CB along with the execution properties or execution information. So it means what I'm trying to say is we need to have a dynamic layout where I can define my folder structure and I can upload my folder structures to any level of only which is not going to change. It's a Tasca meta folders, only that folder. Okay, Tasca meta folder and the Tasca meta file. That's the only thing it is not going to change. Other than that, we can define and we can define the folder structure. Okay, either it should be a definition or either it should be a script and it should be an environment or it should be a deployment. Okay, so it can follow that any of that structure. Okay, that's the point.
So what you're describing, that stuff, we should be able to do it as part of the editor mode itself.
Okay.
But as part of designer mode, it's more intended for the users who don't really want to know about the definition of the folder structure.
Yeah.
It should be,
exactly.
You know,
exactly. Because in this import, trying to just can you move to that import section? Just I want to see that.
Import? You said import? This is import.
Oh, this is the import, right?
Oh, no, this is external. Can you go to the import, please, Sarah? The imports?
Yeah, in this section, so the definitions and how it's automatically it is picking up or how we are getting the definitions. And even we want to select that file where file we are uploading or how we are creating here these files. Are you there?
What was the question, Brenda?
Yeah, so here we have a definitions / data types, right? So definition types / policy types. Okay, whether we are while uploading, we are trying to say that it should be a definition folder or how we are specifying that this folder structure.
This is, you can enter any URL you want.
Okay.
In here, this is going to be under the import section of your, all these links will be on the import section of your main JSON file.
Okay, so here import file means in this case we are trying to upload a file to a directory structure. What is the impact on?
It's not a file. It's not a file. It's just a reference to a file, right?
Oh, okay.
Like it's the same. It's just the same thing we do in the current JSON Tasca file itself that we have.
Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Can you also go to Tasca topology?
So basically, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So here we are importing any kind of file, right? Definition file, anything.
Yeah.
It's just a reference. Yes, it can be anything. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So, so all of these files should be showed in the source view. I mean the file structure.
All of this information will be also visible in the source. Yes, yes, in the main JSON file.
So how are we linking this there? I mean, here we are directly importing the file.
No. It's a reference. It's not the file itself. It's just a reference.
Exactly. Why we need this, Yuri, actually? Okay. So in a file structure itself, can we change to that designer and that mode?
Well, it's not currently in the designer mode. So look at the designer mode. There is no import section there, right? So we have created a separate section for imports in here. You want to go through each of the screen, and then it gives you some context of why we built it this way.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
So look at the Sarah. Show them the topology view itself.
Okay.
So Brenda, here it's mainly the Lego building blocks of function and workflow actions.
Okay. Exactly.
Can you show them one? Can you show them the actual? Yeah. Select an action and all that other stuff.
Okay. So we have three options here to insert an action.
Mm-hmm.
We can create a new one from this button, and from this button we can import any action that's not uploaded in our packages. And this list we can select one or more actions from the current topology, packages that are created in our system.
Okay.
And here we yeah.
Okay. So it means like a workflow here there, right? Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. And of course, we have here the functions. We will label it to a tag or a clear naming. We'll
Okay.
change
Got
this.
it.
Okay. So if we created an insert, if we insert a custom one, this is the view. Of course, this will not be collapsed, but I show it the view of how it collapsed in the menu. Okay. So this is the action. And we have this the attributes about this action. Of course, we can change the name, and we have the steps and inputs and outputs. And of course, we can add multiple steps and inputs and outputs here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And we can see the source of the action. Only this section of
Particular action. I got it. Yeah.
Okay, and of course we can delete it. So let's show you if we insert a functions here in this action. Here's an example of having multiple actions inside this flow. Multiple functions inside this action.
Exactly.
On this button, we can create the link and relationship between those functions. And if we click in any function of this one, we will show on the right side the function attributes list here. And just of course, the right side will slide only, not the screen, the total screen.
Got it. Got it. So that even that edges will have that definitions, right? On success or on failure, that identification, right? Edges. Okay, I could see that the config assigned to config deploy process, that arrow mark, that line, right?
Yes, this is here. He shows the connection, and we can add multiple connections to by clicking on this plus.
The point, what I'm trying to say, it's like, we are going to differentiate. Are we going to differentiate capability and requirements there? Okay, so only what I'm trying to ask is like, we want to have a definition for requirements, adding requirements and adding capabilities in a different, or in a different coloring sense. Okay.
So I mean,
yeah, we can take care of that. I think that won't be a big problem.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Just I'm giving that point out there, right? So we have three different connections from node to other node. Okay. So one is a flow node. Okay, it may be a success or failures, and another pointer. It's another kind of different relationship that we can make. It's a requirement relationship, and another relationship. It's a capability relationship. So from a node, we can have a three different, maybe probably in future 4 policy also it may attach. So 4 different kind of connections or 4 different kind of lines that we can create. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
And one more interface. Okay. Just I'm giving that other details also so that we can consider it. It is not to point anything wrong. Just I'm giving that extra information. Okay. So don't please. Excuse me if I say in a different sense. Okay. So we have one more under that interface. We have one more called implementation. Okay. Just in a spec or inside the code, we have the definition for that. Implementation defines. It talks about a timeout and which host that we are trying to make a call. So that section also we want to include that. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Hello?
Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah, okay. I can hear you now.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, please. Yeah. It's great.
Hello? Can you
Yeah.
please repeat it again,
Hello.
Brenda?
Hello.
Yeah.
I
Now I
I
can hear you.
okay. Go ahead, please. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. Really good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda.
So we have that even if based on the type, right? So if type is of JSON type, then we can in that resolution key, right? So we can put expression or we can put a JSON content or anything, right? In that place.
In this place, we
In
are
that
here
resolution interface section, I could see that, right? Under
Yes.
interfaces, okay, we could see the resolution key, right? So in that that text box, it's a text editor or it's a content editor. It's a JSON editor.
You can write and then you can search from a previous one.
Okay.
Keys. Okay.
Okay.
It's an autocomplete input.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say, it's like you can write an expression or you can enter a key or enter a value or you can dump a JSON also. That is also possible. So three things that's possible there. Yeah.
And we can custom it according to your needs.
Mm-hmm.
I just took it from a specific template that I followed while I'm doing this prototype.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah, and we have property section also at the top, right? A little bit go top. Property.
Okay. This type, I just saw a specific type of function, but each type of this function will show different attributes according to this type.
Exactly. Exactly. And one more non-editable information panel should be there, that attribute panel. Okay, one more panel also it should come. One more section also it should come under that function attributes called attributes. Okay, attributes basically we get it from the definition, but it is not editable. Just we want to show that, okay, what all the attributes we can populate inside the code, so that makes very easy to write expressions below. Yeah. So one more section, attribute section also.
Attributes, just for all types of functions?
Yeah, it's similar to that interface. You have that interface artifacts, right? So you have a property and attribute sections also, properties and attributes. Okay, attributes basically it is a non-editable information panel or information view, I could say. That view just only it shows what all the attribute properties there. Okay, it's non-editable. Only it should show attribute name and attribute type, so that you can easily write an expressions for input and outputs, interface inputs and outputs.
Sorry, I have a question here. So the attributes are retrieved from the definition of the element?
Exactly.
Of the component?
Yeah,
okay.
node type. In the node type, it has that attribute.
Okay.
Brenda, is there something in the attribute that will tell us that it's non-editable in the model itself?
Actually, attributes are non-editable. Okay, we are not going to collect from that model perspective. Only the code, the function populates that attribute. Okay, so attribute will be populated so that output node expressions output can use that attribute to assign a node output or assign a function output. Okay, so basically expressions, most of the expressions we use attribute expressions. Okay, for output definition. That attributes, what are the attributes that we are going to assign? It is a programmatic. Inside the functions, it is going to populate. If you try to look at attribute nature, the value will be set inside or by the component or by the function. I think you are following, right?
Just one second. Let me just open. I'm not open. Let's say resource resolution component, right?
Yeah. Any attributes, or let me share
there attributes. I guess if I can take just the presentation. 1 second, Sarah. I just want to make sure that we get this clarification as well, and then you can present back. So if you see, can you guys see my screen?
No.
Okay, I just stopped sharing my screen. Okay.
For some reason it doesn't allow me to share. Okay, that's okay. So
Sarah,
there
I
is
think
an
okay.
Can you see it now?
Yeah. Not yet, Yuri.
Sorry, I could not see. Yeah, now only with switching.
Can you see now?
No, Yuri.
I can.
No. Okay. So I see in resource resolution there is
Let me share, Yuri, 1 second.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
You are able to see my screen now, right? I believe you could see my screen, right?
I
No.
cannot, but maybe I
No,
have
Brinda.
Okay, let me 1 second.
Oh, there we go. Something's coming up.
Yeah, I could see. So under the
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So you
we have that
the
attribute section, right? So this is the
Right.
attribute section we have. We have attribute, we have interfaces, and then and one more thing, under that interfaces we have inputs and output, and one implementation also it will be there. Okay, just let me show in a node template. Okay, so this attribute, these values, right, the response data, everything it will be populated internally. Okay, so it means like from model we are not going to set that value. So we are going to set the response data inside the code or inside the function implementation. The component script executor will set the value for response data. But how it should be used, okay, so that should be used in this fashion. Yeah, see here, this is the output, one output, right? One output we have, okay, this is workflow output. Okay, let me take a component output. Yeah, this is a component, this is a function output, right? So we have a function, and then that function output, okay, resource assignment parameters, it uses attribute function. Okay, so get attribute is a function, it uses that. This property, okay, user may not know, while modeling user may not know what property or what value that I need to set. So it means like this assigned param, it should get from this attribute section mostly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this value maps here. You're getting it, right? Are we following?
Yes. The only thing is we need. How do we? This is just hard coding the UI saying that don't display the attributes, but allow the users to
Do that.
select the attributes as part of their output definition, right?
Exactly. So either way, okay. I think it will be very tough in expression. Okay, selecting that expression get attribute. So instead, we can display that information. These are all the attributes will be populated within the system. Okay, so that you can map those reference to that output directly. Okay.
Okay. So maybe.
Think in a way how it should be easy for you, but only the information what I need, it's like this should be displayed somewhere so that I can get the reference. What all the
So, I mean, we're going to display everything that is part of that node type in the activities, in that function activity screen itself.
Exactly.
So we're going to display everything. So the reference will be there, but I want to make it even drag and draggable that you're talking about. So
yeah, I think just look into the design, how easily that you can do. At least minimum level, I need to display that, or I need.
Yeah. Display we'll take care of, and then we'll think about the evolution of that as well for drag and drop. I'm sure. I think that's a very good point. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yuri, actually, we have a designer mode in progress, right? We have disabled it for LL to release. So can we show that alone, like current thing, what we have done using the JS library, the current application?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Arundhati, can you just show it?
That's fine. Yuri, one second. Just I want to follow this just I want to complete the screen entire thing, and then we can take a look of that. Yeah. And then later we will talk about what technology and how we want to implement and what's the plan. Okay.
Actually, Brinda, we have gave a demo about the current code and thing, everything. We have just missed this designer view alone.
Oh, okay.
We didn't enable it.
That's
so
okay.
Just
Then
wanted to show it.
You can go ahead.
Yeah. Arundhati, can you go ahead with the designer mode?
Yeah. 1 minute. Let me share the screen. So this is with designer mode. I think, Brenda, you were talking about this thing, right? The artifact should be
No, not artifacts, attributes. Okay, yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Attributes.
Yeah.
And I have one more question. So we were supposed, told to display this policy also. So are we currently putting that in place here?
No. Just we don't want to do that because most probably it needs a design. Okay, first we will talk about the design and then we will come up with that. Right now we can disable that. Okay. So only node type, but exactly what you are doing is perfect, right? So you could see that clearly you are trying to differentiate the color options for each node, right? One is orange, which denotes a policy, and then blue, which denotes a link between one component to another component in a node or relationship perspective, or it's like a flow perspective.
Yeah. I think this point we need to implement. I mean, the color differentiation in the
yeah, exactly. Either it should be a requirement relationship or policy relationship or flow relationship. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. This is what I. Okay.
Yeah. El, you have anything to add here?
No,
yeah,
I don't.
Yuri, actually, this is the design mode we have planned, right? It's like just the graphical changes they have done in the mockup screen. Can't we implement that code and this itself in the existing one itself now?
What is the plan, Yuri and Sarah? What is the plan?
Plan for designing?
Yeah. Whether we are going to recreate that entire thing or so we are going to enhance that. What is the plan?
No, of course, this is just a prototyping and just a black and white. We will work on the coloring and just if we we get sure that all comments are applied, we will start doing the design.
Exactly.
The design or applying the colors, then we'll start the development and aligned with the UI development.
Exactly. No, that's the point I'm trying to ask Sarah. Okay. Sarah, whether we are
sorry,
going... Sorry, go ahead, please.
I think we need to have something like a study the current designer view, okay, to make sure if it can we have it in the new UI or in the new application. Okay.
I'm fine with either anything. Okay, so you can develop that existing or you can do with. But only thing is we want to align together completely. Okay, so we want to align and we want to put a plan when we are going to deliver that. That's a point I'm trying to look into that. Yuri, that's the point. Even I'm looking into that. So what is your view, Yuri, in this case?
Linda, can you repeat that question one more time?
Yeah. Because now AT&T we need this UI as soon as possible, right? For
Yes.
at least inside that AT&T. So what is our plan? Okay, so most probably we are trying to look for 1911 project, right? So 1911 one of the project, right? So in that case, what is our plan for that UI? That's the thing. It's a question to you, Yuri.
So right now, it's mainly we're developing the UI in ONAP, right? And then we can ingest back different versions of the UI itself.
Okay. So you mean to say the two versions of UI is going to come?
No, we want to consolidate the effort, right, and have one effort for the UI itself.
Exactly.
So I don't want. That's why we're having this call for Frankfurt strategy, but it's not just Frankfurt, right? We can have. We want to unify what we're doing and how we're doing, because it's not just about the UI. The UI has to be simple experience. If it's not simple experience, then it won't be usable. The user will reject it.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's why we want to make sure that we align. Everybody understands what we're trying to achieve.
No, I got that point. But only thing is like what we need to communicate to that AT&T. That is the second point, right? So whether we are going to come up with a new UI or we are going to come up with that or we are going to use that same UI. So that is the point.
No, we're using whatever is in ONAP. We're not going to do anything else internally within AT&T.
Even one app, what changes that it may undergo? That is the point. Okay.
That's what we reviewed so far with Sarah and Ahmed, right,
Okay.
and Arun and the team.
Okay.
All
we'll
those
discuss
changes we want to go through because I think that provides it aligns to what we have right now, a lot of stuff, and we also I think are taking into account what what we can do to provide like a more what Cloudify did and Alien for Cloud did. There's a lot of UIs that are out there that have done this already. So we're trying to leverage those capabilities and deliver the same type of functionality.
Exactly. So only my point, what I'm trying to ask is like what we need to communicate to that organization. Okay. So what is the plan in consuming their existing UI? So we want to clearly tell that okay, whether this look and feel it's only up to El Alto or something like that, or we are going to make a change and then we need to wait for next UI to come up. That kind of information. Okay, I'm not debating on the technology change or what kind of work. Definitely, we need a better user experience.
So let's talk, Brenda, after this call, and I think that messaging I can do to Sebastian team so that they understand what's coming and what we're in later release.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely. Hey, thanks a lot, Sarah.
My suggestion would be like Yuri for Frankfurt, we can, we both Orange team and we can concentrate on this designer component as a separate one. We can develop all the, and then we can go ahead with changing the first, those stepper totally. Because we have almost, 50-60% UI ready for editing and, saving the CBA, blueprint creation. If we start from the start again, it would be like from zero again. So when
no, I don't want to do zero. I want to also do what we currently have. So I think we want one more call because this is a good call that we kind of came up and saw what is now and what we're designing towards. Let's have a follow-up discussion and come up with a plan of what we want to do and when we want to do it as well. I can set something up for tomorrow if the team is available, or we can do it on Friday, whatever the preference may be.
Sorry, we are not working Friday here in Egypt, so we can have it tomorrow if you like, or the next week.
Yeah, tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow. Is it okay if we do something 8 to 9 tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern?
Tomorrow we have CS UI call, right, at 8 a.m.?
No, that one's 9 a.m. So we can do something beforehand, 8 to 9 a.m., just to sync up again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll set that up, and let's have a follow-up to conclude on, to plan what we want to do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Anything else, Paul?
Yeah, I think, is there any other mock-up screen available, or that's everything all whatever you have shown, that's a complete one?
I can share with you the URL of this prototype
Okay,
that have all the scripts.
that will be great. Sarah, it's a wonderful, right? Okay, whatever I have seen,
Thank you.
it's coming
Thank
out
you,
very good. Yeah, really, I could see that a lot of better user experience.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello. Hi. It's Apnali.